Howdy folks, and welcome today to Cedar Creek Homestead. It's just a little Father's Day special we're doing today to say a big thank you to all the fathers out there, and we are certainly appreciative of our fathers, and we call them dads, we call our Heavenly Father Father, and so we call our parental fathers dads or daddies or whatever you want to call them. But we're celebrating Father's Day, and some call their dads different names, but we call ours, I call mine Dad. And but we certainly appreciate you watching today, and hope you're having a wonderful Father's Day. And go ahead, you got something, Josie, about fathers?
Well, first of all, happy Father's Day to all of you out there. I hope you're having a great day. Hope you get to hear from your kids, and I hope you're just blessed this day. And I have been blessed in my life to have my dad, and I had a good stepdad. You know, things happen in life, and they went, my mother and daddy went two different directions, but I had other people in my life. My stepmom and my stepdad stepped up into places, and my stepdad, he worked hard. He was out in the woods all the time, cutting wood, trying to make ends meet. They were, excuse me, young parents. My mom and dad had me when they were 17 years old, and went on to have other children, just stepped right behind it, and then went on with their second families and had more children. So I'm from a big family, both my mom and dad. And the men, you know, they stepped up and they did their part. And I'm thankful for the men that God put in my path that were dads, that taught us the way to go, taught us how to be towards their wives, and what for me and my sister to grow up and to look towards men and how they should treat their women in their lives. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that for our church pastor. He's a godly man, and he's like a spiritual father, and he's over the church, and God's given us a good one. Has lots of great stories. I love to listen to our older folks tell stories about when they were young and the things that they did. And we definitely have a pastor that's got some good stories from when he was young. Our church man, and this one, he's a good dad. Always has been to Blade. Taught him all the things, maybe not everything, but taught him a lot of the things that he needs to know to be a good, godly man. Of course, you know, from the age of 15 to, I don't know, 22 or 23, I think we all think that we know more than our parents. And, you know, sometimes they've kind of butted heads, because he would try to teach, and Blade would say, I know Dad, you know. But
I always enjoy it when he comes back and says, I wished I'd have listened to you, Dad.
But now he doesn't always do that. And sometimes Blade has been right. He went to tech school. Is that what it's called, tech school? And he learned some things that he was able to teach his dad, and he took pleasure in teaching his dad that too. And I think his parents...
Well, it's been over 30 years since I had went to tech school,
right.
So there's been a lot of changes over the years.
I think that it's a good thing to have a kind of relationship that they learn from us, but we can learn from them too. You know, if you ever get to a place where you think, I know everything, then we run into trouble, because you know, there's new stuff coming out all the time. You have to admit that a lot of the technology and a lot of the things that I've got little nieces and nephews that can run stuff that I have no idea how to do it, and they'll just push the buttons and they got it going, and I'm still twisting it around trying to figure out how to turn the thing on. So I mean, there's the opportunity for us to learn on all parts. But he took the time when Blade was little to teach him all of the things that he needed to know. And there was times when I'd look out, be washing dishes, and look out the kitchen window and see Blade on a piece of equipment or doing things that I thought, what are they doing? He's not old enough. But sometimes, you know, we have to step back and let the daddies teach them things that they need to know. And especially in the life that we live as farmers, you know, there's things that not every dad would teach their son because they don't face that in their daily life, and so they don't need to know how to do that. But there's things that, you know, on the farm you need to teach them farm safety and those kind of things. Y'all, I can't drive a stick shift to save my life, but Blade can, and Blade could when he was young. And I'm 50 and I still can't drive a stick shift. So I appreciate that Howie took time to teach him those things. He's taught him how a man should treat his wife and how he should be responsible for his children. Blake's never experienced a time in his life that his daddy didn't want to work and provide for his family. That's just something that we believe in, that you, if you're able, we know there's circumstances that a man's not able to work because of sickness or afflictions. We also know, several people that the wife works, makes really good money in her job, and the husband stays home. One of my brothers stays home and you know, does the things that he needs to do with the children, and his wife has a lucrative job with Walmart. I guess I have two brothers that have wives that work for Walmart in high up positions, and it just made more sense financially for their families for the wife to continue to work. But even in those circumstances, you know, they're teaching their children and taking their children and showing them how to be responsible. And you know, sometimes it's easy to say all the things that mamas do, you know, on Mother's Day, but we need to step back and remember that it takes the daddies too. And I think there's been an attack on families for, I don't know, probably decades now, that children are growing up in families where the dad's not in the picture, and I think children suffer because of that.
I think they need both, the daddy and
I think they do need moms and dads. I know there's situations where there was abuse in a situation or some kind of thing and it just wasn't possible, but if at all possible, I think you do better when there's two. And especially if you've got someone now. Howie's always been one that's played games with Blade, and he'd like to tell them stories when they were little and make them laugh, and he's been a good dad, and he's still a good dad. We're looking forward to the days when we can be good grandparents. We're really going to have fun then, and I hope that you can look back through your life and have good memories on your dads, or maybe you can, as dads, have good memories of your children as they were growing up. And I have one uncle that I always remember him dressing up as Santa Claus, and you know, we knew it was him. You know, he didn't disguise his voice and stuff, but he was always Santa Claus. And there was others that always took the part of being the barbecue person when we would have family reunions. And so, you know, daddies are important, and they are our security, for not only for the wife, me, but for our children too. And they need to feel safe, and I thank you, because we've always felt that. And the biggest thing is that he's been the spiritual leader of our home. And you know, if you're a Christian, you know how important it is to have somebody that will direct their family. Not that he tells me how to worship God or how to live my life, but it is his position in our marriage, anyways, as the spiritual leader of our home. And I'm thankful that he has stepped into that position, and he leads our family, and I have comfort in that. And so I'm wishing you a happy Father's Day.
Thank you, dear. Kind of hard to follow that and make me have the big head with all those kind words. And I'm glad to be a husband, and glad to have such a wonderful wife. Got a wonderful son. One story that I would like to tell was when he was younger. Proud for him. One thing would, like on the equipment stuff, you'd say some of the relatives in different places would say, "Oh, you're letting him drive that big old tractor," but he would get on there and drive it like a man, and he did wonderful. But our riding lawnmower, the transmission had went out, and I want to say he was in the 7th or 8th grade, but I'd ordered a transmission for it and had it here set and needing to get it on. we come in the house one day on a Saturday afternoon, it seemed like, and we were kind of resting, and he said that he had brought his best friend had come over, and they were going to put that transmission in the lawnmower. And I thought, oh no. And you know, being patient, tribulation worketh patience, the Bible says. And I thought, well, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let him go ahead, but we'll probably have 1,000,000 pieces left over when he's through. But he put that transmission in there, and I mean, it worked, and there was no problems with it. And we used it until last year when we got a new mower. That thing had just ran and done wonderful. And so that made me appreciative, and I was glad that my son was able to, that I could see that he's learned something. You know, we let him some trial and errors, and sometimes you have to be patient with it. But I'm proud to be a dad, proud for my son. And he's 21. He's got a long road ahead of him. And sometimes, you know, we learn the hard way. We all did it, and we all go through things. But sometimes we just have to let them, you know, a bird will kick the little birds out of the nest, and they have to fly. And I know it's hard for the mama bird. It's been hard for the daddy bird here, so I'm sure it's for the mama birds too. But we just wanted to have a special video today just to thank all the fathers and grandfathers and ones in our lives. And if it wasn't for fathers, we wouldn't none of us be here. It takes a father and a mother. And I want to say, I feel like that girls especially need a mother figure, and boys especially need a daddy figure. But they need both for the perfect balance in their lives. They need both. And it's sad, the situation that's happening in our country today and in our world, where so many children are raised up without a dad or without a mother. And now sometimes it's by tragedy. I had a cousin that got killed, and her mama is having to raise the children now. And you know, that's tragedies happen, and it can be done, but it's better if it can be done with a mama and daddy that stays together until they're grown. It's just my opinion, and I've seen the results of both, and I think it works better. I'm thankful that when my parents divorced, that my dad married somebody that would come in and help raise us. I tell people that I had a drug problem when I was growing up. One of the biggest things was my dad took us to church, and we were drugged to church. I tell them I had a drug problem because I was drugged to Sunday school, Sunday night church, Wednesday night revivals. And my mom, I accuse her, my real mom, of wanting to get rid of us children, because up to the point her and my dad divorced, she sent us to every vacation Bible school there was.
My mom did too.
And didn't matter what brand they had on the door of the church, and we were going. And they'd even, some of them come out and pick you up, and some of them she had to take us, but she took us. But I'm appreciative of that, because I think it did me a lot of good going to vacation Bible school. And I'm appreciative of all them people that worked hard to do those vacation Bible schools, and that took time, and the patience it took with us, because there's men and women both that did those parts. But today we're focused on the fathers, and we're certainly thankful for all of our dads. And we want to wish you a very happy Father's Day, and we'll see you next time.
Happy Father's Day.
We're gone.